Imagine a time before history, in the cold, misty realms of the Norse gods. Our story begins not with Thor but with his father, Odin. Odin is the All-Father, the king of the gods, a seeker of wisdom and knowledge. He craved a son who would be not just wise but strong, a protector for the worlds of gods and humans alike. He found a partner in Jord who was the very spirit of the earth itself. From this union of the Sky Father and the Earth Mother, a son was born. They named him Thor. And from the very beginning, he was extraordinary. He did not simply grow, he swelled with the power of the storm and the strength of the mountain. As a child, his toys were not simple blocks but weapons of war. It's said that just a few days after his birth, he amazed the gods in Odin's great hall by lifting 10 heavy bags of gold at once. But his destiny was not in the golden halls of Asgard, not yet. To learn true strength and humility, his father Odin sent him to be raised by a mortal family, a foster father and mother named Vingnir and Hlora. Their names mean the winger and the heat, hints of the stormy power growing within their foster son. It was there, among humans, that Thor learned the values he would carry forever. Loyalty, the defense of the common person, and a deep, simmering rage against any who would threaten his home and family. When he came of age, he returned to Asgard, a god in full. And what a sight he was! He had a great red beard and eyes that flashed like lightning. He was the embodiment of raw power. To channel that power, the dwarves, the finest smiths in all the cosmos, forged for him 3 legendary gifts. First, Mjolnir, his mighty hammer. When he swung it, it created thunderclaps. When he threw it, it would never miss its target and would always return to his hand. It was the ultimate weapon, but also a sacred tool used to bless marriages, births, and funerals. Second, a belt called Mejingjord. When he buckled it, his already godlike strength was doubled. And third, a pair of iron gloves Jarngripr needed just to grip the handle of his fiery, living hammer. With these gifts, Thor took his place as the undisputed defender of Asgard and our world, Midgard. He rode across the sky in a chariot pulled by 2 magical goats, Tengrisnir and Tangenjoster, whose teeth sparked on the stones of the sky, creating the lightning we see. And so, the boy born from the king of the gods and the soul of the earth became Thor, god of thunder. The storm was not just his power, it was his nature. He was the crash in the clouds, the flash in the darkness, the unbreakable shield standing between order and the chaos of the giants. Think of Thor not as a distant, all-powerful god, but as a brawler on a cosmic scale. His fights are less like elegant duels and more like earth-shattering bar fights. He is raw, overwhelming force meeting the ancient chaos of the giants. His greatest enemy, his true rival, was not a person but a creature, the world serpent Jormungand. This was no ordinary snake. It was so vast it coiled itself around the entire world of Midgard, biting its own tail. A prophecy said that Thor and this serpent were destined to kill each other at the end of all things at Ragnarok, but their first fight happened by accident. Thor, in a moment of pure, boastful strength, was tricked by Giant King into trying to lift what he claimed was a cat. But this was no cat, it was the world serpent in disguise. Thor, grunting and straining, his feet crashing through the floor, managed to lift that cat just high enough for one of its paws to leave the ground. The giants were terrified. They had no idea being that strong existed. In that moment, Thor didn't just lift a cat, he nearly lifted the very circle of the world itself. But his most famous and perhaps most humorous fight was the time he lost his hammer. The trickster god Loki had played one prank too many, and in revenge, the giant Thrym stole Mjolnir and buried it 8 miles underground. Thrym's price for its return, the hand of the goddess Freyja in marriage. Well, Freyja refused so fiercely the halls of Asgard shook. The gods were in despair. Without the hammer, Asgard was defenseless. Loki, ever the schemer, hatched a plan. Thor, he said, you must dress as a bride. Can you imagine it? The great Thor, with his red beard and thunderous voice, draped in a wedding gown, a veil hiding his face. Loki, disguised as a maid, went with him. At the giant's hall, the bride Thrym saw devoured an entire ox, 8 salmon, and washed it all down with 3 barrels of mead. The giant king was stunned. Loki, quick thinking, whispered, "Do not be surprised. Freyja has not eaten for 8 days, so eager was she to come to your land." Convinced, Thrym leaned in to kiss his bride but jumped back in terror. Why are her eyes so fierce they burn like fire? Again, Loki whispered, do not be surprised. Freyja has not slept for 8 nights, so eager was she to come to you. Fooled once more, Thrym called for Thor's hammer to be brought forth and laid in the bride's lap to bless the union. The moment Mjolnir touched Thor's hands, his disguise vanished. He tore off the veil, his eyes blazing with lightning. He gripped his hammer and the hall erupted. That was the end of Thrym and all his giant kin. It was a battle won not just with strength but with cunning and a willingness to swallow his pride for the greater good. And then there were the brawls closer to home. Once, a giant builder came to Asgard and offered to build a magnificent, impregnable wall around the city in just 3 seasons. His price? The sun, the moon, and the hand of Freyja. The gods, thinking it impossible, agreed but added cruel conditions. He must work alone with no one's help. To their shock, the builder, with the help of a massive stallion, was nearly done. The gods, realizing they were about to lose the sun and the moon, turned to Loki. Fix this mess you got us into. So Loki transformed into a beautiful mare and distracted the builder's stallion. The work stopped, the deadline passed, and the enraged giant revealed himself as a mountain giant. In that moment, there was no need for tricks. Thor simply arrived. He swung Mjolnir and with one blow shattered the giant's skull into dust. It was a brutal, direct, and final solution. These stories show us the many sides of Thor's battle prowess. He is the destined killer of the world serpent, the powerful god who can challenge the cosmos itself. He is the champion who will do anything, even dress as a woman, to get his weapon back and protect his people. And he is the straightforward enforcer, the divine violence that cleans up a mess when diplomacy and tricks have run their course. His fights are the thunder that shakes the pillars of the world, a reminder that sometimes chaos can only be answered with an overwhelming, righteous, and hammer-shaped force.